The
in the
beard
space.
gang is real. And the beard gang is real not only in Tobago but worldwide.
Worldwide. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Business. This is a safe space where business professionals, entrepreneurs, and creators, just like yourself, can share their stories, talk about their journeys, and of course, we celebrate wins. And today I have a very, very special guest with me, personal friend, good partner of mine, Akeil, the beard boss himself. Coming out straight out of Tobago. So we're in Tobago today.
Yes.
All right. So of course it's only right that we do another episode here on this style because of course business has no boundaries. All right. So Akeil, my brother, thanks for taking the time to come and share your story with us.
Appreciate it.
I know we've been chatting about this a while, and we have a lot of things that we need to cover. It's been a journey. You and I, we've been connected on multiple levels.
Definitely.
And now we're here, we're doing Beyond the Business, episode 3 in Tobago. All right, so...
Only 3, I thought it was more episodes.
I mean, but it's been a journey. So
Okay.
we get it there,
Okay.
All right, so I want to dive right and say it one time. So introduce the people, tell them a little bit about yourself, tell them a little bit about your business. Start with yourself, of course, we want to know who you are, and then we'll get into the business aspect of it.
Okay, so my name is Akeil Andrews. I'm from right here in Tobago. I am from the eastern end of the island, in a very small community, Kendall. Right? I am a proud dad. That's usually the first thing I tell people about myself. Nice. I have a son, a mini-me. We call him AJ. Right? So outside of that personal aspect, I am the owner of a beard boss and also ties and nuts as well. So I'm the owner of 2 businesses. Right? I started in 2018 with ties and nuts, which is a male accessory line. So I do ties, socks, tie pins, cufflinks, etc. And then I branched out to my new baby, beard boss.
Beard boss.
Right? Which is a business I always wanted to get into. Right? But God just led me to ties and nuts first and then beard boss thereafter.
Yeah, because
So I'm here.
We when we look at business and business operators as well, we tend to see the finished product, not necessarily the journey leading up to which part we are now. Because God alone knows how many businesses I would have started before reaching to this point.
Right.
So you're here now. Of course, you have ties and nuts, but right now, Beard Boss is the one that is seemed to be making the most impact, the biggest splash on the island. So tell me where that concept came about to me first.
All right. So I was born with a beard, basically.
Because one of those that always had a beard. Some
Yeah.
people just have it.
Right. And it's really a passion of mine because the Andrews family is actually very synonymous for large facial hair. We have a lot of facial hair. Right. So this is a legacy that I'm building not only for myself and my son, but I'm piggybacking off of the Andrews. I would say the legacy because I come from an entrepreneurial family, but it's an Andrews trait, having facial hair.
Right.
So it's basically an Andrews legacy that I'm building off of. Right. And when I just started with the lemon cook, the Hercules mint fragrance only, a beard oil. And of course, the business grew over time in 2020. I started during the pandemic, in the midst of the pandemic. I was actually supposed to launch in June, but of course, the pandemic hit in March.
Yeah.
So of course, the world shut down. We didn't know what COVID was. And we decided, okay, I'm going to push it back to June. Of course, no. And then December, it was finally launched. When I launched it with a video, a marketing video of my cousin Keon. He was my first ambassador that I had.
Right.
When the video was released, the product literally sold out at the outlet. It was at Hysteria Fashion. It sold out within probably half an hour.
Yeah.
So from then, I was like, okay, this is a bigger thing than I expected. And the business started to catapult from there.
Now, you mentioned the fact that you started in the pandemic. I know that is always a key point especially for when you hear the stories of businesses going forward.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Going through that experience as a business owner has to be a very scary kind of situation because you'd probably be, planning all of these things, etc., etc.
Very, very much so.
How has that occurrence impacted your approach or your views in terms of approaching business?
That's a good question. That's a good question because you see, with ties and nuts, of course, that was affected greatly by the pandemic because of the type of business that it is. Right? But with Beard Boss, I took a leap of faith. And I think that's really what business is about. take a leap of faith,
Oh, definitely.
right? Because we are venturing into the unknown. Whenever you go into a business, you don't know if it's going to be a success, but you're venturing into the unknown based on your passion. Not only about, oh, this thing could make me a millionaire, but you must have a passion for it in order for it to excel. Because there are going to be slow days, there are going to be days where the business is going rapidly, and so you just have to roll with the punches. So when COVID hit, what I realized is that we didn't forget about grooming during the pandemic. Even if barbershops were closed and hairdressers were closed,
that
etc.
was so important.
Zoom, Microsoft Teams, etc. was still a thing, especially for the young professionals like myself. We still had to appear online to do a lot of meetings, seminars, work, schedule stuff, and that kind of thing. And we needed to look good. So I said to myself, you know what? Grooming is an essential part of life because only essential businesses will open during the time, etc. I said, you know what? Grooming is an essential part of life, and I think this is gonna do well. And so said, so done.
Now, for instance, when I build businesses, it's usually from that point of essentialness, right?
Yeah.
I always discuss with the team what we do. We build what we call utilities,
Yeah.
things that people have to use. It's part of the process. Was that also part of your creative process? You looked at it, guess what? Yeah, you're going to use my beard oil, but it's going to finish at a point in time. So you're going to have to re-up at some point in time. Because when you're in these spaces, you always have to continuously. The business model is such that you will always be recuperating.
So prior to this chapter of my life, I started as another job. My career began at a particular institution, right? And in that industry, I was required to be very groomed, like literally every day, right? And because of that strict policy that I was working under, I said, you know what, I just found myself using a different set of like array of products.
Right.
That just, I was like, you know what, no, I think I just need to create my own because I know what I'm looking for. And that is really how I started the brand because I knew exactly what I was looking for. So I knew the essential oils added. I knew, of course, with research, because I had to, get a team to bring it to this point. And from then to now, it's here.
Yes. So your production, now of course you can't give me the secrets and the sauce and the gravy.
Of course.
But give me a little insight in terms of your production process and what it really takes to bring this product to market.
A lot. A lot. Because I don't operate as a one-man show, but I mean, it is a sole trader business for now. Right? I have my family there to assist. Of course, with the bottles, of course, the sanitization of that. Of course, the essential oils, the larger quantity of the oils is be added, and of course, you pour them out in the different batches. Of course, it's different products that I have. So I have shampoo now.
Right.
That is a bit simpler than the oil, but it still takes up a whole heap of time because I have to leave it for a couple of days to cure, etc., etc. So it takes a while for it to be perfected, but I know once it's perfected, it's like magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to take this time to say thank you very much to food designer Arlene for lending us a beautiful space here at my house, Tobago. Of course, none of this could be possible without you. So thank you so very much. And I also want to encourage you when next you're in Tobago and you're looking for a trendy Caribbean food experience to visit my house. Now, I started my beard growing, my beautiful bean, in Tobago, and funny enough, today when I went to get a haircut, the same barber shop that I started my beard is exactly which part I got my haircut in Tobago here. And right above my head is a calendar with all your brand ambassadors, which I am actually an ambassador.
Big up yourself.
Yeah, and also big up me.
Yes, Mr. April.
April. So this episode, we're gonna see if we can drop it in April.
Right.
I am actually representing this month, and it was a full circle moment. But I go back to say the beard culture in Tobago is a real serious one. Something about having a beard as a man in this space is really, really important. Was that part of did you recognize that, or what was it just something that kind of coexisted
the beard gang is real. And the beard gang is real not only in Tobago but worldwide.
Worldwide, correct.
Because I mean, I remember, no joke, when I first struggled as an adult, persons were like, "Hey, how to cut your beard?" When they go through immigration, they they would try to tell you something about your beard. That was 2017 as an adult, my first time traveling as an adult, and that was how much years ago? What? 7 years ago, basically.
Yeah, correct.
And now it's a total 360.
Yeah, now if you have a beard,
they didn't say nothing. Exactly. So I mean, the beard culture in Tobago is real, but the beard culture worldwide is real.
Yeah. I think we've seen a huge push towards beard culture, healthy beard, and I think even for men too. Starting with our beards, it was a bit of an introduction to self-care. We see men now, okay, yeah, I'm taking care of my beard. Oh, good. Now I'm realizing I need to make sure that my skin look good. I need to make sure that my appearance look good. So you're seeing men becoming a lot more conscious in their personal appearance, in terms of their grooming, etc. And your product fits smack dead in the middle of
Yeah.
that, starting
So
with the beard.
the thing is with Beard Boss is that it celebrates masculinity. And I think that's important, especially in this part, in this generation, in this time of the world.
It's important to mark that
Yes,
masculinity is there.
yes. It is important because you're celebrating masculinity by, of course, taking care of yourself. Self-care isn't for females only. And I think that's something that us men used to think. We used to think that, hey, if you do certain things, then, only females do it. But taking care of yourself, very attractive for a woman.
Well, yeah, of course.
You understand? And using my products, it allows you to feel good, look good, of course, smell good, because the products smell amazing.
Yeah, of course.
And, it's a celebration of manhood. And that's really why I started my businesses, because I just really wanted something for us fellas. I feel like everything you go is always for the ladies. But when you go into a barbershop and you see Beard Boss, it's like you feel compelled to purchase, especially when you see the calendar on the wall. After that calendar drop in January, I must say I got, I can't even count the amount of phone calls I got from persons that want to be on the calendar next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, the men, they feel appreciated now more than ever because we have something for them,
So one of the initiatives you took this year, or your marketing initiatives, was to do a calendar.
Yeah.
All right. I flew in from Trinidad.
I said,
I flew in from Trinidad.
I don't know.
I flew in for that particular shoot. And tell me a little bit about your Beard Boss calendar, where that concept came about it, and how was the execution?
All right. So this was not my first year. I had it in 2023.
Oh, okay.
Right? I had my initial installment. So big up my 23 fellas, my 12 guys, including myself, because I was on the first installment, right? And I piggybacked off of the idea from there, right? The calendar was a success last year, but this year was a major success. Like, the ladies went crazy.
Well, I was when you have to stay, brother.
The ladies went crazy, right? But really and truly, where the concept came from, prior to 23, I started the business in 2020, the end of 2020. And, a lot of persons, a lot of fellas, they would message me and say, hey, pal, I just purchased your product and it's doing really, really well. I just this, I just that. And they would at me on social media. They would, take my handles. So I say, okay, why not use this as an opportunity to give these fellas an opportunity, to be in front of the camera and share their Beard Boss experience, but also make it where they are like the celebrities of the brand, right?
Because most of the guys, that was probably the first time. I know for me, that was probably the first time doing something like that.
Right. And I use it as a networking tool, because I believe out of the 12, all the 12 guys have businesses in the calendar, right? Because Mr. January, Alistair, he's based in New York. He's a loctician. So he has his own, his own space, doing very well. Mr. February, Keyshawn, he is a panis.
Right.
Mr. March, Kidani is an entertainer by himself.
Right.
Mr. April, himself. Right.
Caribbean content creator, entrepreneur,
right.
all of the above.
Right. We have Mr. May, Gizmo. His month is coming up. He is, he has his own games and stuff like that. So everybody has a business. So I'm able to assist them in marketing, and they're able to assist me in marketing.
Yeah, so it pays itself.
Mr. June, Kablis, everybody know him as Kablis. He's an up-and-coming soca artist right here on the island.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are all able to really help each other out, especially in this space.
Yeah.
And this year I had, my Trinidadian friend right here. Yeah.
Wait, was I the only Trini on the calendar?
Yeah. Yeah.
I representing for Rima.
Yeah. So I mean, it just goes to show how much the product is actually growing.
Yeah.
And the brand is actually growing.
Yeah,
So the
because
concept really came from that.
from that,
Yeah.
yes, and of course, creating that fanfare. You mentioned the ladies and all, like who is this and that and that
Yeah,
and that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so now
I mean, you'll see the messages. I forward them in the group chat all the time. So I mean, you can attest to the ladies.
Yes, I mean, I get these stares when I walk in these spaces. They don't say that, but you catch them, like,
Yeah. Right.
But it was really a nice opportunity for us to, I mean, it's coming out of our comfort zone, and we get an opportunity as men to feel special and appreciated.
Yes.
In the small, simple way, and of course, you get that marketing, mileage. Now you're operating in Tobago, doing business in Tobago. In comparison to doing business, let's say back in Trinidad, is two completely different things. It is tribal, it's traditional, and it's really personal. Right?
Yeah.
Now, it took me about 8 years to understand how to function and work in this space.
Yeah.
How has been operating in this Tobago business and environment been for you thus far?
Great. I can't complain. You know, Tobagoans have supported my brand from literally day one, and even with ties and nuts. So I think when I started Bail Boss, I already had that niche, you know, because I was already an existing successful entrepreneur. And, you know, I kind of piggybacked off of the success of Ties and Nuts, basically. Of course, it's two different brands,
Correct.
but it's one vision, it's one goal.
Yeah, and it kind of had the momentum and of course the credibility behind the Ties and Nuts to be able to transfer that.
Definitely. So for me, Tobagonians have supported my business so much that, you know, it has now expanded to the Trinidad space. So I can't complain at all. You know, they have been a great support for me. And even with you, because, okay, I met you in TIC, last year,
2023.
And when you met me, you were like, hey, you know, I use your product.
Correct.
Right?
We didn't know each other.
We didn't know each other. Yeah. And then you told me you came to Tobago, you saw it at Tobago Week, which is one of my retail outlets.
Yeah, big shout out to Tobago Week.
Yeah, big up, Jizz. And, you know, just that within itself spoke a lot to me because I met a lot of customers there who I would usually ship stuff down to TT Post, or they would probably get at the outlets in Trinidad, etc. But seeing that you are basically a Tobagonian now, and you went,
taken that,
right?
You're here for yourself, right? I am a Tobagonian now,
right? And you went to the outlet and you purchased. It said a lot to me.
Yeah.
So Tobagonians have really supported my brand and my business, and they are, you know, partly responsible for the success of my brand.
Now I'm gonna go into you know, on this platform here we tend to touch on the spots that people don't really want to talk about,
Okay.
right? Don't worry, you can get sued.
Okay. I don't know if I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. See that, right?
Now, I wanna talk about something from how should I put it, a societal point of view between our both islands, and I think it's a conversation that we need to have.
Okay.
All right. I always hear other business professionals talk about how difficult it is to do business in Tobago as a Trinidadian coming into this space. All right. Now, my experience will be different, and I will share that a little bit afterwards.
Right.
Someone coming out from Trinidad coming into Tobago, what do you recommend, or what do you suggest how they approach doing something like that?
Well, to me, before you go to any part of the world, or even if, for example, even if you're in Trinidad and you're from South, and you want to do business on the eastern side, which is in that Port of Spain side, right? Arima side, right? Even if you want to do business there, you would have to do your market research, because I am of the firm belief that persons from the South are different from persons in the East.
Correct. South is love.
Right. Because I'm going to give you an example. While in pursuit of my bachelor's, I stayed on hall in St. Augustine, right? UE. And you could have clearly saw the difference in culture from persons who were from South to persons who were from the East-West corridor.
Yeah.
All right. So it goes the same way as if you're a Trinidadian, or if you're anybody from outside of our country coming into this space to do business here. You have to do your market research, because culture is a major part of you know, business etiquette, basically, right? Because in order for your business to succeed, you have to understand the culture that you're operating into. So you would know how you market in your business. You would know how persons will be able to reach your brand, and you have to reach your clientele halfway, basically. So I would say definitely do some market research, because what I know is that Tobagonians are very warm and friendly.
I also love it. I get my papers. I said Tobago, no.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah, Tobagonians are very warm and friendly, but we are also very traditional.
correct.
Very, very traditional. So it's just to learn. And I think that with my island, for me, I would say that change is inevitable in
Correct.
any part of the world. All right. But sometimes they're a little bit susceptible to change. You're like, change, but I think once you start introducing them to new things and they understand, hey, this is
Yeah.
nice, the finer things, then they're able to evolve and
Yeah.
understand the concept.
It comes back down to a matter of respect as well too. Being able to come into, because you're coming into someone else's space with your objectives, and understanding how to assimilate the both is going to be a challenge. For me, what I found was really interesting in Tobago was that personal touch in business. Meaning, for instance, I have clients in Trinidad that I probably never seen.
Right, yeah. Same
All
here.
right.
Same here.
But just as much in Tobago now, if somebody never meet in person, you could send what or how good that deal is. Unless what they call feel their vibes.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do business with you. And I think as business operators, as professionals, as even creators as well, because we see a lot of creators coming into the space trying to do their thing. You need to understand that you have to come here, you have to understand the culture, you understand the people, you have to meet them on that level. This idea that you're going to run in, I have this $1 million idea or this $1 million proposal or business opportunity, and just bring it and they're going to accept it. That is not the case. You have to ensure that you have that personal relationship with them. So I want to jump right into something. So of course, we celebrate wins here.
Of course.
Beyond the business. All
See
right.
that?
So I want you. All right. Now, you know how it'll be. Sometimes you want to talk about where you're going on, people thinking about, you're boasting, etc. Let's celebrate a win here. What are one of the biggest wins that you've had thus far between 2023 and 2024?
Business wise?
Correct. Or it could be personal.
Personal, okay. What is always a win for me with Beard Boss is getting into a new outlet. That's always a win for me, right? So I would have gone into 3 new outlets between last year and this year.
3 new outlets.
3 new. One of them is in Trinidad, right? And that guy, it's actually at a barbershop in Sawa.
Okay, what's the name of the barbershop?
It's Fairy Beard. It's Frank's Aesthetic Studio, and it's sold by a guy called Lex Springer.
Out in San Juan there.
Yes, Sawa, right? And his business name, his Instagram name is Fairy Beard 868, which is aligns perfectly with the brand.
Right.
Right. That success would have come out of TIC, of course, him seeing my setup at the space, etc. So it came out of that. And of course I got into Penny Savers Pharmacy last September as well.
Penny Savers. That's a big deal, because if your product in Penny Savers,
in Tobago,
you're rich, right?
Yeah. So I mean, those are my small wins that could transfer into big wins. And I wouldn't say could transfer. That's a big win for me. But I still say that it's a small step in the right direction as to where I want my business to go and grow.
And congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations, man. That's what we're talking about. All right. What are some of the challenges you face as a business owner? Because we know people usually see the end result. They see when we're finished, they see when we're done. They don't really understand, it has some times that man does want to pull out the hair. Tell me exactly, what are some of the challenges that you face right now?
That's a really good question. I would say availability to raw materials in this space.
Yeah.
That's a major setback at times for my business. Of course, you have to then bring in the bottles and stuff to import them.
Yeah.
So that within itself it could be a challenge sometimes, because sometimes with the courier, they can be very unreliable. Very, very unreliable. But what I learned with that is, as a businessman, you have to always be on top of your game.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't wait until your stock is 10% finished. So try to order it in and then have to wait, and then your production is stalled because you don't have the raw materials to produce. You know, you will procure your items at a stage where, you know, hey, this is it. And, you know, you basically keep the production, the operations of the business growing and rapidly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think especially when we look at some of the challenges the island on a whole faces, because we know how the challenges we face with the cargo boats, etc., which might indirectly affect the smaller operations, but it still affects
Well, I mean,
us as a whole, regardless.
yeah,
You know,
you might say may not, but actually every little thing affects a business.
Somewhere,
Because you
yeah.
see, let me give you an example. Let's just say I am dependent on a particular supplier in Tobago. That supplier may be dependent on the boats coming timely in order to
Yeah,
for us to get
yeah.
you know our materials in. So everything is a trickle effect. You know, everything is a trickle effect. And I think for me as well, one of my challenges also include time, because you know I am a dad full time, and then in addition to that I have a career, and then I have businesses. So sometimes you feel like 24 hours in a day isn't enough,
Isn't enough.
because you know you just have to get your stuff done, you know. But of course with time, of course, as the business grow, because it's definitely growing, you know, you have your staff and you have a larger team, a part of your process, production process.
So one thing I've always admired Tobago specifically for is that entrepreneurial spirit. Some people have jobs and businesses.
Yeah, like me. Yeah.
And I always admire the fact that regardless of what somebody, most persons out there have something that represents their identity, their creativity, their willingness, that intrepid spirit. For young entrepreneurs in Tobago, and by extending Trinidad, because I believe we're able to inspire
Yeah,
one another,
yeah.
and up the Caribbean as well, because
Of
we have
course.
entrepreneurs all over.
Of course.
What advice you would have someone taking this journey in their life?
Pray. Put God first, definitely, and have Him lead you to the right direction. Because, you know, sometimes opportunities come knocking at our door, and it's like we don't know how to accept that opportunity. So allow God to lead you into that right direction. And that's the best I could say. Because, I mean, it's only through prayer and dedication why I would have gotten this far. So definitely pray and have, you know, and dedicate yourself, you know, because business isn't easy. Can't give up, especially if you know that you have a top tier product or service. Not every day is going to be the same. As I
Correct.
said, that business, there are days you make $0.00. There's going to be a day where you probably could make $12,000 or $15,000 in one day, and that's probably what you're going to make in a month. And then there's some days where you're going to make money every single day.
Yeah.
But you cannot have it discourage you, because it comes as if you go to work on a regular 8 to 4. Not every day in your job is the same. You may
Yeah.
have a slow day, you may have a fast day. And business is an unpredictable thing. So, yeah.
I like that. I like that. I mean, it's easy to say you want to be a businessman, you want to be an entrepreneur, but the reality, when it gets down to the nuts and bolts of it, it really does take. And I like the fact that you chose prayer as your initial piece of advice, because spiritual health in business is rarely ever spoken about. I always commend, I take example some persons who are dedicated to their spirituality. When we look at our brothers in Islam, all right,
Yeah.
to the glass of the right in the Islamic population, when you look at the type of businesses they're into, they're successful at what it is they do.
Yeah.
All right, when we
Yeah.
look at persons who are dedicated to their religion or to their spirituality in Hinduism, and you look at their businesses in comparison to that, that is also the case.
Yeah.
And likewise for Christians and the Jews and everybody, you know.
Yeah.
But pay attention to the persons who put spirituality at the forefront, their spirituality, their religion, their religious beliefs. When they make that as a really important part of their lifestyle, the success of their business follows closely. Right?
Yeah.
So thank you for highlighting that. Spirituality in business, I think that's a conversation
Yeah.
that we need to have.
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
So First of all, thank you very much for taking the time for coming and chat with me, for being on the podcast. Beyond the Business, we're going to continue growing this. We're going to continue,
Of course, as you should.
expanding this, because I really wanted to have that conversation with other business operators, other entrepreneurs, just us to get a bit of insight, because we see the finished product. We don't know the story, don't know the struggles, we don't know the pains behind building that, and sometimes we don't get the opportunity to celebrate the wins.
Definitely.
All right. So at this moment, I want you to just give us your handles. Let us know how we can contact you. Let me know where your products are located, and of course, bring it home first. Yeah.
All right. So Beard Boss, stay bossed up by of course using Beard Boss, right? At Beard Boss TT on Instagram and of course on Facebook, Beard Boss TT as well. You can contact me 475-9632. Delivery options are still available. We also do TT Post deliveries as well for persons who aren't able to visit the outlets in Trinidad. Right, we do TT Post deliveries as well. In Scarborough, the products are located at Waterfront Pharmacy, which is opposite KFC, right? Then I have it at Hysteria Fashions, which is right in Dutchford there. And then also at Island Boys Barbershop, which is located at the Port Mall, which is where you went today. Third level Port Mall, the barbershop that's closest to the elevator side. Right? So that's in Scarborough. I have it in Keenan. Yeah, Keenan. Well, that's in Canberra, Mount Pleasant Canby side, right? So, yeah. Yeah, you have to be good. Right.
I work on it.
Right. So I have it in Keenan at Penny Savers Pharmacy. And of course, I have it at a barbershop at Bonaccord Plaza, in Milford Court Plaza, sorry, by Shaka. It's Comfort Zone Barbershop. Check Shaka out. He's there. And then, of course, in the Mount Pleasant area, Can't be Mount Pleasant area, I have it at Penny Savers Pharmacy yet again, and Tobago Wick.
And you everywhere, bro. You really the boss of this, man, because
right?
You have more outlets than, I wouldn't call the name.
Right, in Trinidad.
You have more outlets than ATMs on the island, right?
Right, and I have it at 2 locations in Trinidad, one in Port of Spain, that's called NIS Beauty. It's at Excellent City Center in Independence Square, Port of Spain, so you can check her out. As well as I mentioned before in Sawa at Frank's Aesthetic Studio, that's Pittsburgh Street in Sawa. Yeah.
We will find it, don't worry. I'm going to put all the handles and stuff like that.
Yeah. So but when you visit the page, the locations are pinned at the top, both Facebook and Instagram. So it's easy for you to, of course, find that. And of course, you could send me a DM or call me and I'll direct you to the nearest outlet or delivery if you're unable to visit.
So guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Beyond the Business. My boy Akeil here from Beard Boss. My brother, thank you so much for joining me on here.
It's a pleasure.
Feel free to check out all the links to his social media. Of course, we're going to have it listed below. And if you're into Tobago and you're ready to get bossed up, make sure and check out all the outlets that he just mentioned. Of course, you can check it out on social media as well. And orders are also available. So till next time, I'm going to see you on Beyond the Business.
Peace.
Have a good one.